The stock market has relied heavily on buybacks to continue this false sense of bullishness for the corporations. It's evident that this has been a major contributing factor this year. While major financial institutions have been selling off equities in their portfolios, buybacks have persisted. In fact, 2018 is proving to be a record year for stock buybacks. Well over $1 trillion is expected to be pumped back into these companies. Do you think stocks will surge as a result? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at stock buybacks. This is an issue I have covered many times before. And why have I been silent about this for the last little while? Well, we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to show you the charts that are associated with it, so stay tuned. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. Companies with large buybacks rolling off the blackout. So we've had this blackout period for stock buybacks, and you can see the amount of money that's going to be flowing back in. If it's too small, the font here, then I apologize. This is as big as it gets on my screen. But what we're looking at here is a period of time in which these companies are unable to buy back their shares. And you could see right here, it's basically next to nothing. And once we start moving into the second week of October, third week of October, we start to see that they're able to buy some of it back. But it isn't until we get into November where we start seeing the amounts that were there previous to the blackout. So it takes a little while, it starts to roll off, and then you can see where we're going. We have, as far as I'm aware, based on the information I saw a few weeks back, the stock buybacks should still be in the range of a few $100 billion before the end of the year. And that's, of course, the expected buybacks. They can change their mind if they desire. But looking at that amount, it is quite significant. Now, that itself can't push up the market. But if a few $100 billion from these companies goes in, that pushes up these prices somewhat. If the traders then see them coming up, they may be betting on those. This may stimulate even more increases. So let's look at this next chart associated with that. Blackout period starts to ease next week. Percentage of companies in the blackout period. So take a look at this right now, where you can see that almost all of the companies throughout October unable to buy back their shares, okay? But as we get into November, as I said, it starts to go down to nothing. All right, so that is obviously going to be a factor here. If companies can't buy back their shares, that's one major entity, if you want to think about like that isn't buying shares of these companies. Think about it. Over $1 trillion is expected to be bought up this year. So that is a pretty big number. Now, it doesn't compare to the total size of the stock market, but $1 trillion of money going back into only a select few companies. I mean, let's just say it was the top 10, 20, 50 companies that are really buying back a lot of that percentage. Of course, that's going to have an impact. All right, now look at this. The buyback blackout. If you search this under Google Trends, buyback blackout, it's skyrocketing right now during this time. And why? Because people are desperate to find out when the buyback period, blackout period, is over. They know that there's going to be a problem, and this is confirmed by looking at the Google Trends searches and related queries. So people are also searching stock buyback blackout period specifically. So if I type in buyback blackout or stock buyback blackout period. That's what people are searching for. And I found it interesting to see that most of the people were in New York. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to you to give you some insight on what people are looking into. Share repurchases are, of course, associated with that. People are searching that topic as well. Buybacks are the main driver of equity demand supply. So you could see the cumulative US equity demand supply measures. Looking at net buybacks here, the chart goes from January 2010 up until present day, and it's unbelievable to see how much money has been pumped back in using stock buybacks. Many people say they shouldn't be allowed. Others say this is healthy, it's great, it's amazing. I don't have an opinion. I'm not here to share that with you. What I am here to talk about is the fact that this is a major buyer. Whether you look at, for example, the Swiss National Bank, whether we're looking at the Bank of Norway, whether we can see the Federal Reserve buying asset-backed securities, buying treasuries. You look at, in the case of Japan, they're buying back their bonds, nearly 50% of their bonds. Looking at their ETFs, about 80% worth of their ETFs. These are major buyers in their own respective areas. And when we figure out that if these major buyers aren't buying anymore, well then, who's going to be there to fill in the gap? I'll leave that with you. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, you're supporting this channel. All you gotta do is click that thumbs up button, and it'll make myself and Janet Yellen very, very happy. So please do so. And if you want the financial education you were not taught in school, well then, these two books have it all. You can get everything you need to know from A to Z. I talk about the foundation, all of the basics. You don't need to know anything about finance to be able to learn so much. So I take you right up to speed, but I don't talk about all these technical terms that they're using, all that jargon. I make it very simple. But if you know about finance already, well then you get up to speed even faster. You get all the details. That's just simply not in the education system whatsoever. So check them out. Link is in the description. If you're more interested in the audiobook version, you can get that at themoneygps.com. If you're still here, I want to thank you for getting all the way through it. I appreciate your time in every video. So I'm doing this thing. I got a pop-up on my channel that came up. It said, hey, if you want to make some t-shirts, you can do t-shirts from this website, and then they'll automatically go on the underneath the video for some people. I don't know how it works, but apparently you can see the t-shirts directly under the video when it's playing, and you can, buy it if you're interested. So I thought to myself, hey, I'll make some t-shirts. I'm just trying to get some ideas. So if you wouldn't mind sharing some ideas in things that you think would be really cool to see on a t-shirt, even if you're not going to buy it yourself, just something that you think would be interesting. It could be a t-shirt or a mug. They have socks, they have sweaters, basically anything. I'm not a graphic designer, of course, but usually just something simple like this would be easy for me to do, or I can always hire somebody to do that. But regardless, I want to know just what you think would be really cool to put on a t-shirt, some writing, a quote, maybe, anything you could think of. This is what I have so far, and I want to thank all those who have purchased so far. Thank you very much. And that's all. I'll end it there. Take care. See you in the next video.